How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a great week. This is a recording of a live talk that I did early in 2020 last year, or 2021 last year, with a association up in Canada called Drive Forward, and they also worked with the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. Shout out to Shelley Walker. And so I know you're going to get a nugget of two of great information from this. So hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next week.
Chicken trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with a wailing sound, running like the southern shaker. I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around.
All right, we are going. So, I wanted to say thank you to Drive Forward and WTFC, especially David and Shelley, for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to presenting this and then asking or answering any questions that you guys have. So, today I really want to answer, can drivers be healthy? And I think that, this is a huge question in the industry. And when you talk to some of the drivers who have been in it for 30, 40 years, and, similar to the kind of the members that we have at the trucking fitness company, a lot of them have the mindset that unfortunately they don't feel like they can. And hopefully today, where you guys are at in your career and kind of just getting started in trucking, we can kind of get rid of that myth and, give you guys and help you guys realize that you can, and, your career doesn't have to define your health, and give you really easy, practical advice to get started day one when you're on the road. So, I've got a couple of bad memes throughout this presentation. A pity laugh here or there would be really appreciative. But let's get started with this. So I'm Mark Manera, and I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm down in the States. Everyone on here is in Canada, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So outside of trucking, I am actually about 6 months away from graduating from physical therapy school. I'm full-time clinical rotations now, and I actually got started in the trucking industry working with drivers on the rehab side of things. And, it was, I remember I worked with a ton of drivers, and one specifically was a guy who had been a driver for 40 years. He just had a total knee replacement, and, I was working one-on-one with him, and, really that experience inspired me to, start the trucking fitness company and give drivers the ability to fight back and take control of their health on the road. And, through talking to him, I really saw the good and the bad of the trucking industry. And for a lot of the drivers I talked to, and specifically him, the bad came for the reason why he was in the clinic in the first place, his health. So, my approach is kind of to get you guys taking a proactive approach to your health, and, really taking it and making it a part of your daily routine, and, not letting yourself go down the path that a lot of these drivers who have been in the industry for years and years, unfortunately, have gone down. So, just to kind of outside of fitness, I wanted to really say thank you to Shelley, and just a little tip or lesson. And a year ago, I didn't know anyone in the trucking industry. I came in and I actually met Shelley, was one of the first people I met, and it was all through a Twitter DM. So I just wanted to tell you guys to, the power of reaching out to someone, and, the worst thing that you possibly could get back is a no, or they don't respond. But, a lot of doors are open, and a lot of people want to help, specifically in the trucking industry, specifically if you're just getting in. So, don't be afraid to reach out to people and, see where life takes you. So ground rules for this presentation, like Shelley said, this is a small group, and I really want you guys all to participate. So if you have a question at any time, feel free to butt in, ask it if it's about the specific topic we're talking about, or if it's even something that just came to your head and you wanted to ask. You're not going to offend me. just go ahead and ask it, because I'm sure that someone else in this group is thinking the same thing. So feel free to do it. And then also, if you want, you can talk or you can do it in the chat. I can't see the chat. Can someone here volunteer to help me out with the chat? And if you see anything, anyone, will you volunteer if you see something in the chat? Ron?
It's just at the bottom of
Oh,
the screen.
okay.
Well,
so when I present, do you care if someone asks a question, will you ask it for them if they see it in the chat?
I'll ask a question. I'll say hi.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So so why am I talking to you? Like I said, driver's health is a big problem in the industry. And, we're at a point right now with a lot of drivers are fighting obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea. I mean, the list goes on and on. And, it really affects these drivers and, potentially in the future, you guys, your ability to stay behind the wheel. And, we've got a couple statistics right here on drivers' health. And, I'm not showing you these to scare you, but I'm more showing you, the importance of the position you're at right now in your career. And, I really deep down to my core believe that, your career or trucking should not define your health. And for a lot of drivers right now, it is. And, if you see these statistics, the life expectancy of a truck driver is 16 years less than the average population. 85% of drivers are overweight. 48% are obese, which is 26% higher than the national average. And 1 in 7 have diabetes. And, we can let these sink in for a second, but, again, I'm not telling you guys these to scare you, but more so motivate you and motivate you to make some type of change in this industry and not go down the path that some of these other drivers have let themselves go down. So, like I said, you're just getting started and, you have the ability to go down the first path where these drivers have, a lot of the drivers currently are going down. And, if you go to the local truck stop and you watch some of these drivers, you can see the effects that trucking has had on them. And, or, this new generation of drivers, which you guys are coming in, are kind of realizing, and I think specifically in Canada, I've seen, because I've talked to Canadian drivers and companies and also US based, and, Canada is doing so much better of a job of making drivers' health a priority. And I'm like super pumped about it. And I think it's awesome. And I think that, you guys are a part of that solution and really have the ability to make an impact and really join in on that movement and, kind of change the identity of drivers' health. So, and again, you have the ability to change those statistics too. And it doesn't have to define your health. And, I'm here hopefully to give you some practical advice on what you can start today or day one on the road. And, we're going to really focus on small changes to your daily routine. And, what I found is that small changes build up over time and really turn into some life-changing over time. And as it becomes a part of your daily routine. So the 3 categories we're going to focus on: exercise, nutrition, and then accountability / having a community around you. So the first one we're going to talk about is exercise. And at the Trucking Fitness Company, we take an exercise first approach. And what I mean by that is that there's this, weird thing that happens when someone starts to exercise, where all the other aspects of their life want to become healthier too, right? You start exercising and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the grilled chicken looks a little bit better than the triple cheeseburger, right? Or you want to go to sleep a little bit earlier or get up a little bit earlier to get your workout in or get a good night's sleep. And I also think that there's something to doing something that you can control. And for a lot of drivers, when you're at a truck stop or you're at fast food restaurant, you might not be able to control, everything that you're able to eat, and or that you can only eat at McDonald's. But you can control if you take 5 or 10 minutes out of your day and do some exercises. So, you know, exercising on a daily basis and or just a very consistent basis, 5 or 6 times a day. And I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about exercise in general. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that people have to, you have to set aside an hour or two a day to go to the gym, and you have to have this perfect plan. And, I think that that's great. And if, you already do that and you have that a part of your daily routine, that's awesome. Keep it up. But, for a lot of drivers, it's really hard to consistently take an hour or two out of their day, find a gym and kind of follow this perfect plan. But, honestly causes them to say, screw it, and I'm going to exercise tomorrow, or I can't exercise. And, we all kind of know what ends up happening when you say, I'll do it tomorrow. It never ends up happening, right? So what I want to do, I really want to set you up to being able to exercise when you're on the road. And, here are 4 super practical things that you can do that will help you get this going. So number 1, yeah, I guess not super practical, but realizing that something is always better than nothing, right? And I think that kind of goes back to the hour or two set aside. It doesn't have to be an hour. There's no set perfect amount of time that you have to set aside to exercise. And, life on the road can be very unpredictable at times. But the cool thing is that there's always going to be some time throughout your day when you're out on the road. And, every job's a little bit different, but you have mandatory breaks. You have regulations on, how long you're able to drive per day. And that's always going to leave some type of time for you to get some exercise in. So, waiting for a load, even when you're filling up gas, when, getting up before your day or right after you get done driving for the day, just having that mindset that, hey, taking 5 minutes or 20 minutes out of your day is always going to be better than, turning on Netflix and watching another episode. And it's not bad to watch an episode of Netflix, but if you can, skip one episode and go for a walk or do some squats or push-ups against your truck, and just get some daily movement, it's going to make such a big difference in the long run when you look back 10 years from now. So number 2 is kind of on that same note, is find a workout routine that you can do in or just outside of your truck, right? I think that finding a gym and consistently getting there works for a lot of drivers, but for a majority of people, it doesn't, right? And, trying to, if you're especially OTR, right, you are potentially in a new city every single day and trying to Google exactly where to go or where the gym is, then you're hoping and praying that they might have a semi parking. And I'm not sure exactly what the situation up in Canada is when it comes to gyms and semi trucking, but in the US, it's not great. And, I think the easiest thing to do is, hey, let's cut out the gym. You can still get a great workout in or just outside of your truck, and just find exercises that you can do that, require no equipment or very minimal equipment. And one of the best pieces of equipment that we give all of our drivers, and I would highly recommend all of you guys to get, is a resistance band. It's 6 ounces. You can carry it around, store it super easily in a small carriage, and anytime, anywhere in the world, at any time, you can pull your resistance band out and do a couple of exercises. And it just is something that makes, cuts down the barrier of entry to getting started, right? And for you guys, when you're out on the road, having a gym that you have to find and find parking and, feel comfortable, but that you're leaving your truck there, that's a ton of barriers that makes it easier for you to just to say, hey, screw it, I'm going to do it tomorrow, or no, I'm not going to do it. So that would be kind of number one practical. Find something and get into a routine that you can do in or just outside of your truck. Number two, or number three, I guess, is keeping the workouts 20 to 30 minutes long. I found that that's kind of the sweet spot for a lot of drivers. If I think a lot of people, when they start exercising, they get all gun ho and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go hour today. Let's do it. And they do it that first day. And then the second day, they kind of do it. Then the third day, it starts trickling off. And then the fourth day, they're back to their regular routine, because just for a lot of you, an hour is just going to be too big of a commitment. And if you can, and potentially maybe you already have your day scheduled out where, hey, you do have an hour long block, that's awesome. Again, I'm not going to complain if you're doing 60 minutes of exercise versus 30 minutes of exercise. But when you are just getting started and you're just trying to make this a routine, you making the workouts something that you can fit into your break, or that you can fit into, right before maybe you're about to shower and you've got 20 minutes before you shower. Perfect. Let me get some exercise in and do it for 20 to 30 minutes. The other thing is kind of, like I said, the 30 minutes is a lot easier to commit to than, an hour long. And we all have 30 minutes throughout our day. It doesn't matter how busy you are. We can all fit 20 to 30 minutes in. So that is kind of in the truck, making the workouts 20 to 30 minutes that you can do in the truck or just outside of your truck. And that cuts away so many barriers that make it difficult for a lot of drivers to exercise on a consistent basis. And, number four is, again, not the most practical thing, but more so a mindset shift of don't be your worst enemy. Because I think it's really easy for anyone, but specifically you guys out on the road, to get down on yourself because, maybe you were running really hard that day and exercise, your workout just didn't happen that day. And it's going to happen. It happens to me, and I'm not a truck driver. I don't run, 11 hours a day. And so, what I do, just don't get in your own head and ruin all of this stuff for yourself. And, I think that the consistency part is a really big part of, making it a part of your daily routine. And it can be really, it can be make you feel really, upset and frustrated at yourself if, you've been doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you have one day that you kind of fall off. But just, hey, don't let that one day ruin kind of the last however long that you've been doing it. And you don't lose all of your gains from just one day. And the other aspect is, you can't control anything that happened in the past, but you can control going forward. So just really shifting to, okay, hey, all right, I missed it. I'm not going to let this happen 2 days in a row. Let's get back on the track, right? And just get going again. So that is kind of yes, Ron.
Just wanted to add that exercise can also be clarity of the mind too.
Totally.
After a long drive or any long work day, and be kind of peaceful at the same time. So just that 20 minutes can be a relaxing calm down.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that, driving as a whole is not a super taxing, physically taxing, right? You're sitting for a majority of the day, you're sedentary and you're sitting there, but it is a very mentally draining, you're constantly having to focus for 8 to 10 hours, maybe 11 hours a day, right? And like you said, Ron, that mental release can, really help you from stop going crazy, right? And just being mentally drained and kind of refresh a little bit so you can enjoy your evening and kind of keep your week flowing really well. So who here exercises on a consistent basis already? Awesome. What do you do?
Well, I was going before the whole pandemic thing just shut us down. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't exercised very well in the last month or
It's
so.
okay.
But I was going to, you might be familiar with, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart here. Adrienne, where were we? Sorry. I was doing like functional training, like the, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm just,
Like a boot camp class type of thing.
yes, but I'm, you know it, and I don't know why I can't even think of it right now. Oh my gosh, this is so, Adrienne,
Are you going
where are
to?
we going to work out? F45. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. I've heard of
I can't
F45.
believe that I'm just like, I was like, what is it? F45. I was going to
Yeah.
F45, which was great. And I liked it because it was like 45 minutes in and out. It was very mixed, and it was all, working a lot. I mean, you used weights and stuff, but you did a lot of stuff with your own body weight as well. And I have a background in boxing where I boxed for 11 years.
Awesome.
So I'll be traveling with my skipping rope.
Well,
for
that's,
sure.
yeah, and jump rope's a great thing too,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I think that, again, like I said, if you can figure out a way that you
Mhm.
can consistently show up and get to some type of group class like that, that's awesome.
Probably
And
won't be able
yeah,
to.
exactly, right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole reason behind the last couple of suggestions that I've made is that, you know, it's unpredictable out there, and
Yeah.
you might be running from 8 to 6 one day, or 12 to 12 the next day, and you having to figure out an exact time to get to a exact location is really not going to work out for a majority of drivers. So finding something that you can do right there or right outside of your truck, and if it's 8 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning, but you can still do it if it fits into your daily schedule, that's what's going to help you consistently do it.
Yeah.
Does
And right
any
now here
sorry.
with the pandemic, everything's shut. Like all of our gyms here are shut down right now. So
Exactly.
can't go anyways.
Yeah, and I know now, is that Canada wide, or is that specific provinces?
It's Ontario right now.
Okay.
I don't know about, I'm not sure about the other provinces.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions about exercise or anything that we just talked about?
No, not really any questions. I was just going to state I was the same situation before pandemic worked out. I was actually working out pretty much 5 days a week, and I'm very much that 2 hour a day kind of person. So as soon as the pandemic shut down, I shut down.
Mhm.
And so it's very tough, but I have been already before, prior to this, thinking about certain things, exercises and stuff too. And you talk about those groups, maybe, at these truck stops, you meet other truckers and you do a little group thing. So who knows?
Oh, totally. And so is your plan to go OTR? Or are you wanting to stay more regional? What is your plan
Well,
after
we'll see what
graduating?
happens. We're
Okay.
just gonna get it. Long term was long distance was initially the thought, but who knows?
Okay.
So
Yeah. So, I think for you is, just kind of the mindset of shifting that, you're used to this 2 hour a day, but, realizing that that might not consistently happen when, you get into trucking full time. And if you can make it happen, more power to you. That's awesome. But don't get down on yourself if it's only 45 minutes a day. And 45 minutes a day is much better than nothing at all, right? And just finding a way that you can consistently show up and do it. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So
Just that, sorry, I
yeah.
don't mean to interrupt, but just to note, when I was doing the F45 program, I found and it was just 45 minutes a day, but I found just with the high intensity training and, just the way they had things set up, it was actually so good for me. It was better than going to the gym for an hour and a half. Cause it was you're going from one thing to the next and with very minimal breaks in between. It was really good. So I think that if you could set up something if you're driving a truck and, you say you have, like you said, the resistance bands, maybe a skipping rope, maybe, I don't know, even just doing lunges or squats or push-ups or burpees, as I mentioned earlier, those are great. I think I think there's where there's a will, there's a way for sure
No,
to make
yeah,
something happen.
I totally agree. And I think that just doing number one, kind of step one of, okay, here are some exercises that you can do, and you just kind of do 10 to 20 of each exercise a day, right? That's like the easiest step, right? Then the next step is, okay, how can we make it a little bit more of a breathing heavy and moving a little bit more and kind of going between exercises like you were talking, with the, I don't know how deep you've gotten with going to different truck stops and stuff like that. What I've been told and what I've realized is that not too many drivers want to get down on the ground at a truck stop and do some burpees. There's some sketchy things that are on the truck stop ground from what I've been told from other drivers. So if you get, maybe put a yoga mat down before those burpees. But no, so okay, awesome. Again, if throughout this whole thing, if anyone else has any questions about new exercise and stuff, jump in, let me know.
There's one more thing I was going to say.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't know if I
No.
just cut someone off, but as we said in the gym, the hardest part of working out is getting to the gym. Once you're there, you're good. So once you get out of that truck and get started, you're fine. And I think that's always been pretty good. So.
Yeah. And I think that kind of tailors to, okay, you've got your resistance band, right? Or you've got maybe your dumbbell or your kettlebell that you carry around, depending on, what type of equipment you're wanting to do or how committed you are. But, putting it in a place that you see it every single day and kind of having those triggers that, oh, crap, I need to do my exercises today, or, oh, I need to do my workout. No, I think that's a great point, Ron. Did someone else have a question? All right. So nutrition. So, I think that eating healthy on the road can be really hard at times. And, I think this is another place where drivers, have the chance to really get in their own head and say, screw it. And, I'm eating a roller dog today, and nothing wrong with roller dogs. I just think it's funny. But, I think that having the mindset with your nutrition of, really stop putting energy into and focus on the aspects of your eating routine that you can't control, and just really shifting and starting to put 100% of your focus on, the areas that you can control. So for what I mean by that, and an example of this is, a lot of you guys might, when you're out on the road doing OTR, might have the only option that you could eat at is McDonald's, right? And you might not be able to control that McDonald's is the only restaurant or fast food restaurant that you can eat at. But what you can control is what you order at McDonald's. So shifting it to not getting down on yourself and saying, I can only eat at McDonald's. Screw it, I'm getting the Big Mac and large fries. But saying, okay, I can only eat at McDonald's. What's the healthiest option I can eat here? Okay, I'm going to get a grilled chicken sandwich. Okay, I'm still going to get some fries, right? Maybe, but I'm going to get a small fry. And, just getting wins like that, and, putting taking control of the aspects that you can control, and not getting in your own head and just getting frustrated about the situation you're in. So, as we go through, I'm going to talk about our nutritional resource and our guide that we give all of our members. I gave that to Shelly, and she will give this to you guys all. It's got restaurant guides. It's got a ton of information on different nutrition stuff for on the road. And then it's also got a guide to help you create a healthy meal at a truck stop. So this will be super helpful for you guys once you're out on the road, and, maybe get something out of it in the next, how much longer do you guys have with this? 2 more weeks, something like that? Or how long is this course?
We're just starting. So.
You're just starting. Okay, perfect. Okay. So yeah, so, it's all about that mindset shift, and really not getting down on yourself about the things that you can't control, but saying, hey, okay, what can I control, and how can I do the best in this situation? So, the other thing that to consider with nutrition is to take small, consistent steps in the right direction versus trying to completely do a 180 flip and switch everything about your lifestyle. This is not trucking specific, but this is, I think, just everyone in general, just like as a society of, we get down on ourselves about eating a second cookie or, maybe getting a large shake at McDonald's, right? And we're like, okay, I need to go on a diet. And instead of saying, okay, hey, let's just shift it a little bit and do a little bit better than I did today, it's like this 180-degree flip all the way to the other end of the spectrum. And all of a sudden you can't eat sweets, carbs, you're not drinking, now you're drinking only water, and it's like all of these things. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. And I think that that's the biggest shift that I want you guys to have, and to realize that, it's a consistency is the biggest thing, and that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that, making small changes to your daily routine consistently goes a lot further than, shifting all the way to the other end of the spectrum, being super restrictive on everything you eat, and that only lasting, a week if you're lucky, right? So, I think the biggest and the best place to start is to, really ask yourself, what are one or two small things that I can do today to my daily eating routine that, would push the needle one step in the right direction. So, a couple of examples of this would be, shifting from regular soda to diet soda, right? Maybe 2 sodas a day to now you're down to 1 soda a day. Like I said earlier, you used to eat a large fry at lunch. Now you're eating a medium or even a small. Or, a grilled cheeseburger is now a grilled chicken sandwich. And, I think that it's not as flashy, and it's not as exciting of, yeah, I'm on this diet, I'm cutting everything out, but it's more realistic, and it's setting yourself up to consistently do it. And, 6 months from now, you're still kind of building on it, versus 6 months from now saying, oh man, remember back in April, or, oh crap, remember back in May, it's May. Oh my gosh. Remember back in May when I went on the diet for 3 days. I wish I would have stuck with that longer, right? That happens so often. And this method of kind of, hey, what's one or two things that you can do a little bit different and a little bit healthier, is setting yourself up to, 6 months from now, say, oh man, I remember when I was just doing that in May. Now look at me and look how far I've come. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's honestly never going to be perfect. But, I want you to really focus on just being slightly better every single day. And, that might be 1% better every day or every week. And, when you look at 10 years from now, that builds up really quickly. And you're going to make so much more progress than, if you went all in and it only lasted for a week. Right. So this is kind of what I talked about earlier about our, healthy truck stop meal equation. And this is all going to be in that nutrition resource, but I wanted to give you a very practical of, here is like how you could create a meal at the truck stop. And this is very, very practical to almost any truck stop. It doesn't have to be, some specific one, because almost all truck stops have very similar food groups. It might be different brands or something like that, but you can find these foods at different places. So the equation you do is you kind of split up the meal. You have proteins, you have carbs, you have fats. And if you're trying to get some extra credit, you go with veggies too. Right. And then, what you do is we've got all of these different charts, and you kind of just pick and plug into that equation. So, we split this up into eat more, eat some, eat less. And what I really want you guys to kind of take on is the eat less is not, I'm telling you right now that I eat fried chicken every once in a while, but it's not my main source of protein, right? It would be better to have healthier options, such as, grilled chicken, or maybe some Greek yogurt. And having, eating, when you're making this equation and you're creating your meals to say, okay, hey, I'm going to pick the eat more. Okay. I've been eating a lot of the eat more category. I'm going to pick some of the eat some or eat less, or, hey, I'm feeling, I really want a Slim Jim. I'm going to use that today. But then when you kind of take a step back and look at the big picture, a majority of your meal options had that eat more category. So, an equation might be, or, a meal that you might make at a truck stop might be, okay, I'm going to get some deli meat. I'm going to get an English muffin. And then we can go over here. I'm going to get some trail mix. And then I'm also going to get a can of vegetable soup and microwave it in my truck. And that is 100% a better meal than, probably 99% of drivers would pick out when they're going to the truck stop or when they're going to a fast food restaurant.
Mark, we've talked about this before. You forgot about the Cinnabon. I still don't see it here anywhere.
Okay.
When you go into a Pilot Flying J down in the US, every single one of them, that's all you can smell is Cinnabon.
Cinnabon. And
because they make them fresh. So nose plugs, people, nose plugs.
Nose plugs, but also, again, like I said, if you have a Cinnabon and, like I said, you can pick the small. To be honest, I think I've had Cinnabon once or twice in my life. But I'm, picking the healthier option or picking the smaller serving size. It's okay to have Cinnabon every once in a while. But when it's a daily or a couple days a week, that's where, hey, okay, yeah, maybe the nose plugs work pretty good, right, Shelly? But don't feel like you have to restrict yourself on every single thing. But if you're used to eating Cinnabon 3 times a week, if you go down to 2 times a week and consistently do that, that's a win, and that's moving in the right direction. And then once you start going that, maybe you move down to 1 time a week, right? And that is a way that you can kind of set up your daily routine in a way that you're going to consistently do it. And that's, when it comes to making a lifestyle change, that's the win. And that's really what it comes down to. So that is the building a healthy meal at a truck stop. And, with nutrition, like I said, perfect is not the goal. It's just a little bit better than what you're doing today. And then it's consistently getting a little bit better and a little bit better. Who's got some questions about nutrition?
I do have a comment.
Okay.
You're talking about meals, and I know, like, from my past experience, like I wasn't a trucker in the past, but I did expedite with a cargo van to the States fairly a while back, and long distance drives down to Georgia or, down to New York and stuff like that. And I know that snacking was a huge problem. Now you're talking meals, and I know, sometimes you're on those long hauls and you think that bag of chips just keeps me awake, Totally. And I think, that's a mindset too, that you have to change that into more of those raw veggie snacks, or like the trail mix is just snack, not more of a meal, but for your snacking things. I just wanted to comment on that too, because I know, that was a big problem for me when I was doing that. And and also when McDonald's came out with their steak and cheese on a bagel, that was pretty deadly back in the day.
Okay. So, I've never had that before.
No, they had that down Ohio way. They had it that way. And the fruit bottom yogurt was down New York way.
Okay.
At the time. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of add on to your comment about snacking, I think that number one, you made a good comment of making switches to snacks versus cutting out snacks in general, because I think a lot of drivers do use snacking, use drinks to stay awake. And when I'm on road trips, I do the same thing, right? It is really easy just to kind of keep your mind going and keep you awake by doing that. And what you need to do is, they talk about willpower, right? And I don't look at willpower as, how mentally tough you are and how much you can say no, but more so kind of it's a result of your environment. And I think you put a group of, 100 people for 8 hours next to a bag of Doritos. I don't see, maybe one person's going to say no to that, but 99% of people are going to start eating the bag. So if you can shift your environment to, okay, if you want a snack, have healthier options. Maybe, you eat junk food every once in a while, but you don't keep large quantities in your truck. So it's easy to get when, you're hungry and you just want a snack. You buy a single serving here or there, and then you stock your truck up with healthier options like the trail mix, like the mixed nuts or the veggies, or maybe it's even baked chips or pretzels versus the tortilla chips and all this other stuff. But then on the other hand, you can also look at serving sizes, and instead of putting the whole bag of Doritos there, maybe you want some Doritos but you only put one serving there and the rest is tucked away where you can't reach it in the back of your truck, right? So that's a great point, Ron. Who else has a question or a comment?
I know lots of guys went to the rice cakes,
Okay.
right, or the mini rice crisps. The only thing is they eat the whole bag. Right, not realizing that's harmful. Down in the US, I've not seen them up here in Canada, but they make a small little 12-volt cooler that basically holds like 8 bottles of water. For me personally, I put a couple bottles of water in there. Yogurt tubes are great because they fit in there nice.
Awesome.
And I would take little baggies and fill them up with string beans or carrots or some of the stuff, because I found sometimes when you want the chips, if you have something that's crunchy to munch on, it kind of fills that void. And being able to have that little cooler that sits on the floor or on the passenger seat, so you can eat some of those fresh stuff still. And for me personally, I'm more of the 5 smaller meals throughout the day, because I don't like to go to bed with a lot of heavy food in my stomach. So it made it easier to do that. That was just a little trick that, I like to use.
That was my thought. The same thing I was going to say, one of those little coolers that plugs in. I carry, even in my car, like not a truck, I always carry a bag of almonds and maybe an apple. Like I'll have an apple and some almonds, or an apple and a couple of slices of cheese or something like that. And again, like Shelley said, I try to have the smaller meals throughout the day, especially I haven't been driving a truck so much, but even when I've gone on road trips in the past, I always take stuff like that. Because again, you have a great big meal and you're ready for a nap, so I would rather eat the smaller things throughout the day. And I have, I actually went to school and studied to be a holistic nutritionist. So I have a little bit of background in nutrition as well. So yeah, this is all good stuff.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, I think the small meals work great. And the trick there is just to make sure the 5 small meals a day doesn't turn into 5 large meals a day.
Yeah.
Because then, it's being counterproductive. And, I think that's where the serving size is, and, making sure that, looking at the nutrition label and saying, oh, okay, I'm going to eat some wheat thins. It's only 16 crackers is the serving size. Okay, I'm going to set out 16 crackers. I'm not going to just mindlessly eat them. So yeah, did anyone else have a comment or question?
Oh, of course I do.
All right.
The other thing is too, as being a long haul trucker, you got to realize that eating these high saturated fats is going to cause fatigue issues. And so that's another factor when you're thinking of our fatigue problems with truckers and stuff, that healthier foods help promote less fatigue.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, I think that the other thing with the energy and feeling, more energized throughout the day and less fatigued is exercise in general, moving more. A lot of people think, well, I'm wasting energy doing exercise. No, I mean, that builds up and it makes you more energized throughout the day. And if you do it in the morning, it makes you feel awake more throughout the day, and then just over time you're going to just feel more energized and more energized. And I think that specifically with nutrition, you can go down a deep rabbit hole of this perfect meal plan, and you've got all of these different things, and you look at saturated fats and all of these different things, all of these different the best way I say is rabbit holes. But I think just starting with the ABCs and just making your current routine 1% healthier. Okay, I'm doing that now, 1% healthier, and just kind of making it something that is consistently done and you're set up as a part of your daily routine. That's what's going to really win in the long run. And then if you do that and you can consistently do it, and you want to nerd out about some of the deeper rabbit hole science stuff, all means, go for it. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the accountability and building a community around yourself. I think that it can be lonely out there for a lot of drivers, and thank goodness for cell phones and all the technology we have with social media and stuff, and it really makes the world feel smaller and keeps us more connected. But I think that for a lot of drivers, they need accountability in their life, specifically when it comes to exercising and eating healthier. And I think that's what's missing for a lot of drivers, and why it's really easy to start, but it's not as easy to consistently show up and make it a part of their daily routine. And it's because they don't have anyone saying, hey, Ron, you doing your workout today? It's that accountability aspect that's missing. So, I wanted to kind of give you a couple of ways to build in that accountability into your life and make it a part of your routine, and really find a community of other like-minded drivers that can help you along the way, and you guys can motivate each other. So the first one is, really finding your why. We all have some type of reason deep down of, why we're wanting to make a change or wanting to start exercising. And I think if you can find your goal, and, if figure out what your reason is and what your why, and go deep with it, the deeper you go, the better. And, when I say, for example, I want to feel better, right? That is, or I want to lose 10 pounds. That's great, right? That's a great start. But I think that it would be more meaningful if you went deeper, and, you might want to lose 10 pounds, but deep down, for someone, the reason might be, I feel self-conscious about the way I look, right? That's a lot more meaningful and a lot deeper than just, I want to lose 10 pounds. And if you can find that deep reason why, it will help you stay motivated. And then kind of the next step to do that is writing it down on a sticky note where you can see that motivation every single day. And you can say, oh my gosh, I need to get my exercise in, or I need to eat, order that small fry because, hey, look, this is my reason why, right? And then kind of to build on that and to find your community is, get a friend or a family member, or, another driver. Maybe you find a buddy, and I know it's tough on Zoom to find a friend on in this program, but as you go on and maybe you work with a company and you've got a close friend that also drives for that company, you guys help each other, and you tell that person your real reason why. And it's tough to open up to someone, I get that. And it's really easy to have that yes man or yes woman, right, where it's just like, yeah, you got this, but it's even more meaningful when you've got someone who is honest with you and tells you the truth, even if it's a hard thing to it's not what you exactly want to hear, right? And I think that it's important to have those type of people. And when you tell someone the reason why behind you want to make that change, you have them there to hold you accountable, and, to do your workouts and to eat healthier. So that's kind of the first step. And then the second step. And then, the other final thing is really finding a community of like-minded drivers. I think this kind of goes back to the whole, it can be lonely at times, driving out there, unless you're a team driver. A lot of people don't have, a lot of human contact day to day. And, obviously talking on the phone and social media can be a good solution to that. But having someone who actually understands kind of what you're going through, and you can relate to them, and you can talk to them and they understand and they're going through it, goes a long way. So an example of this is in our program, we've got something called the TFC Community. It's a private community with all of our members, and they're there. They've got different text channels and also different voice channels where they can talk to each other 24/7 and get on the phone. We got weekly calls that we all talk and hang out, and not only talk about exercise and stuff like that. That doesn't rarely happen. Actually, it's more so just talking as friends and hanging out, because when my goal of that is really kind of to give drivers the experience of having gym buddies, right? You go to the gym and you've got friends that you hang out with, and you're not talking about exercise the whole time. You're talking about other life events, like what's going on in life, maybe your kids, all this other stuff. But you have that same baseline of, hey, we're all here to be healthier, and we're here to motivate each other and hold each other accountable. And I think that goes a long way. So yeah, I mean, I think finding yourself a community, and I think that Facebook groups specifically can be good and bad. And I think there's unfortunately a lot of negativity in some of the driver Facebook groups. I think that if you're in the WTFC Facebook groups, those are awesome. And those people are there to help and wanting to motivate. And I'm sure it will answer any questions you have. You go on some of the other Facebook groups, and it's more so talking about politics and who hates, who's not a real trucker, and all these stupid arguments that no one ends up winning. And that can be pretty toxic. But, just doing your best to find people around who can help hold you accountable, and you can help motivate them and hold them accountable too, and kind of you all kind of grow together and kind of make the most out of trucking. So that is really what the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I really think you can nail down those three and go into this career with a plan, and you can be better off than 99.9 drivers out there. And you don't have to let those statistics come into your life, and you don't have to deal with those. And the other thing, don't let this information go in one ear out the other. And I think it's really easy to get excited and say, hey, awesome, I learned all this stuff, and then not do anything about it. So really start implementing these things, come in with a plan, and make this a career that you come out of it just the same as you came into it, or maybe healthier than you came into it. And I know that that's weird to say when it comes to trucking, but it's possible. So I talked long enough, and I appreciate you guys talking back and forth with me. Who's got any questions, comments? What are your guys' thoughts? I'm an open book.
I just bought a set of weights. I was actually just looking for a picture of it. I was going to try and share it on there, but they're something that you could take in a truck with you. They're dumbbells, but they're adjustable. They go from like 5 pounds up to like 52.5 pounds, I think. And it's just 2 dumbbells. But I mean, you can take, I guess the plates. I'm trying to explain it, but yeah, I got them for home, but they'd be really good to have like in a truck, I think, as far as getting workouts. And one more thing I was going to comment on with regarding exercise and, your health in the truck and your energy and all of those things. I find when I work out consistently, regularly, which I haven't been doing for the last month, and I'm noticing the difference, but I go to bed at night and I sleep. Like, even if it's only, with truckers, I mean, you might not be getting your 8 hours sleep or whatever, but just being able to go to bed and go into a deep sleep, even if it's for like 4 or 5 hours, makes a huge difference. Like, I don't need as much sleep, and I wake up feeling refreshed and good and ready to go. So that's a huge thing for me, is being able to have a really good night's sleep. be like after exercising. So
Oh, totally. I totally agree. Yeah, that's a good point. And the dumbbells is a great idea. I think that again, that is kind of phase 2 or step 2. You're more advanced than I think all drivers need to get, but I think it's awesome that you're wanting to do that. And yeah, they'll fit perfectly in your truck.
yeah, I have them already. I'm just trying to find, I had a
Perfect.
trying
Yeah.
to find a picture of the setup that I have, but I don't even know how to share them on there.
Yeah, no. I think I know what you're talking about. Who else? What other questions do you guys have? Anything? All right. Well, yeah, it was great. It was great being able to present and talk to you guys. Again, I've got some stuff that Shelly will give to you all. If any of you guys have questions, if you want to, start exercising or getting into more of a program and have something that's guided, we have a Facebook group that you can join. It's called shoot. It is called, oh, come on. Truckers Exercising Made Simple. And it's a group, and we're the trucking fitness company. And you can look us up. We're on all social medias, the Trucking Fitness Company. Our website is truckinfit, truckinfit.com. You can email me. You can put something in on our website or DM any of our social medias. That goes to me. I am open. I will answer any questions or give you guys the resources that you need to start your career off right. So, yeah.
Did you tell them about your app, Mark?
Yeah. So what we do with our program is we're an app-based platform. So we have an app that is for drivers, and with our membership, it'll go right on your phone, and every single day you'll get 2 workouts that you can do right in your truck. That'll be in your truck or right outside of your truck, and we'll give you a resistance band, and every single day you'll have something that you can do, and it has some built-in accountability, and it also has the TFC community that will kind of get you in with other like-minded drivers, and not only keep you accountable, but also make some friends and know some other drivers that can relate to what you're going through out there on the road. But the 2 workouts every single day are one 20 to 30-minute one that you can do, and then we've got also every day a 5-minute truck stop workout that you can do when during your break, or when you stop to go to the bathroom or pump gas and you just want to move a little bit, get some blood flowing, change the position up, wake up a little bit. And it's been great. And we've seen a lot of drivers who come in who have never exercised before in their life. And also on the other end, we've got some drivers who have exercised in the past, but just got into trucking and it just kind of fell off, and they needed some extra help with the accountability aspect, and they're doing great with it. And so if anyone is interested, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out and get you in on our program. And we can, if there's a financial issue, we can help you out and work through that too. My biggest concern is helping you guys go into the industry and not go down this path that so many drivers are going on, and being forced to retire early, and working so hard for years and years, but then their health fell out and they're not able to enjoy the fruits of their labor and enjoy their retirement. So I don't want any of you guys to go down that path. So
I can tell you guys that for most drivers, like obesity is a really big problem. Diabetes is a really big problem. Kidney disease, kidney stones is a really big problem. So, and unfortunately, these drivers, like now we're 50, 55, and 60, and we're like, oh my God, my body's falling apart. I have to take off more time off of work to attend different medical appointments. And they're trying to figure out how to fix it. And and it's trying to convince them that it's not too late to fix it. So that's kind of part of it, drivers seem to get into a mindset. I think all people do, right? We get into a routine. We just become complacent, right? And don't think there's any way that we can change. So Mark's being really well received by the driving community. Now it's the push is on to start making carriers understand the importance of driver health and well-being, because it's important, and it's something that they've never cared about in the past, not realizing that, you know, if they start losing drivers because of these reasons, it does affect their bottom line, and they should be concerned about drivers' health and well-being, not just physical well-being, but also mental well-being, right? So I follow Mark's stuff on all social media platforms. I love his videos. You'll see him in the videos, and everything he actually does, you can do. He does it with a truck. So it is really real and you can do it. And 32 times around 53-foot truck and trailer is 1 mile, right? I can tell you there's often, I'll have a half hour to an hour loading or unloading. It's a great time to be able to get out of the truck. I like to say, with being a Canadian in our winters, when you get to go to Arizona and Texas and California and Georgia and places like that, it's a lot nicer, so you can actually get out and get that exercise. You start to see a lot of drivers now that have the bikes on the back of their catwalks. You'll see them on rollerblades. But laying on the ground in a truck stop, I do not recommend to anybody. Anywhere. Pull up a piece of grass. Because yeah, when you get down in those warmer states and you get out of your truck, the smell of urine's so bad you want to gag.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just nasty.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing, thank you, Shelly. And the other thing is, you know, we have, for example, I'm working with a company that is all team drivers right now, and they all work out. Every single one of them only does workouts in their truck when the truck is moving, when their other team driver is driving. It's possible. And it's, you know, hopefully, you know, if you guys might be in a better situation where it's not going to have to be that dramatic, but I just wanted to show you that it's possible in these constraints where, you know, their truck is rarely stopped and they only have time when the other person is driving. And, you know, we've got people losing 10, 15 pounds, and we haven't been working with them. We've been working with them for a couple of months. So it hasn't been, you know, an extreme, a long amount of time, but they are doing great. And they are just taking control of the aspects that they can control. And what they can do is some exercises that, you know, we give them when they're in their truck. And, you know, I think also it's unfortunate, and Shelly can talk on this a lot more than I can, but, you know, a lot of female drivers and some male drivers might not feel comfortable, number one, being outside of their truck, walking around at some truck stops, but also number two, from a self-conscious standpoint, working out and, you know, putting themselves out there when you've got all these other drivers looking at you a little bit funny because they haven't exercised in 40 years at a truck stop. And, you know, you might be in the minority of people doing exercise when at the truck stop. So it's okay if you don't feel comfortable getting outside of your truck. You know, it might be more comfortable for you to go on a walk, and that's a little bit more natural. But if you're wanting to do some specific exercises, you can do them in your bunker, in the back of your truck. And, you know, you might not be able to get too crazy and, you know, doing jumping jacks and all of that stuff, but you can do some stuff and make some really good progress with those exercises. So let me know if anyone is interested in getting in on the program or just needing some help on where to start. I'm here, and I'm a resource for all of you guys.
Mark or Shelly, perhaps we can have your contact information.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just added you on, I found your Facebook group, the trekking fitness company. So
Awesome.
Yeah, David, in the drive, David puts up a list, so all the speakers that have been here, so you have their names and everything, how to contact them.
okay, great.
And David Henry, when he comes in to speak, he is also part of and participating in the Trekking Fitness. So he can actually tell you from a driver's point of view that's actually using that program, what it's been like and how it's changed his life for him. I can tell you that for, down in the States, we see it a lot more than up here. There's a really high rate of obesity in drivers down there. You have some cases where the passenger seat has been removed in their trucks, so they can get back into the bunk. And talking to those drivers, like, they just feel that there's no hope for them. In some cases, we're hearing of a lot of drivers going for like gastric bypass, gastric sleeves, figuring that that's the answer. Well, you still have to change your mindset, and how you eat. And that's why when I said to Mark, hey, Mark, do you want to come help me with this program? Because I want new drivers coming in to know that there are other options and that you can stay fit. And I think if you start into our industry and you're already in this routine of eating healthy and staying fit, you'll maintain that. And the more of us that are doing it, the more other drivers are going to catch on, right? And realize that, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. Eventually it catches on.
I completely agree. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And again, if anyone has any other questions or anything, let me know.
Trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the wailing sound. Running like the southern shaker, I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around. I'm jacked up like a Chevy, but ain't heading to the levee. Lord have mercy sakes alive. On this high step and double clutching, gear jamming, chicken trucking, old school outlaw.